The storm outside the stone-walled inn raged like a war between the heavens. But inside, everything was silent except for the nervous breaths of two people who had never expected their lives to collide. Yet here they were, bound by tradition, danger, and a destiny neither of them believed in. If Jamie Fraser had known that this one night would change his entire future and hers, he might have run. If Claire had known the same, she might have fought harder against the vow she never meant to make. But fate has a way of choosing moments we never expect, and on this night, when the candles flickered and the world outside seemed ready to fall apart, their lives were about to twist in a way that would echo for generations. And it all began with a single knock on the door. Claire's heart thudded as she stood in front of the small mirror. Her wedding dress still damp from the rain. She couldn't believe what had happened, that the ambush, the chase through the woods, the desperate escape toward the Fraser clan, and the revelation that the only way to save her life from the Redcoats was to marry a Scotsman, a stranger, a man with broad shoulders, gentle eyes, and a past he spoke about only when forced. Jamie hadn't expected this either, but he stood silently behind her, trying not to stare at her reflection, trying not to reveal how nervous he was. He had fought battles, faced pain, survived betrayal, but standing in a room with Claire on their wedding night made him feel like a boy again. Unsure and unsteady. Chapter 1. The door suddenly burst open, and Murtagh walked in with his usual urgency. The Redcoats aren't far, he warned, voice low but sharp. You must stay hidden tonight. They'll be looking for an Englishwoman riding with Highlanders. Claire swallowed, fear tightening her chest. Jamie stepped forward, shielding her instinctively. We'll be safe, he said, though even he wasn't entirely sure. When the door shut again, the two of them were left alone, staring at each other, neither knowing what to say. Claire moved to the small fire burning in the corner, trying to warm her hands. Jamie walked toward her slowly. I'm sorry for all this, he murmured. None of it was something you chose. She looked at him, surprised by the softness in his voice. And you? She asked. Did you choose it? He laughed quietly, a short, shy sound. I dinna think I've chosen a single thing this week. A strange comfort filled the room between them, fragile but real. Claire lowered her gaze. She had been running from fear for days, but tonight, she was face to face with something different. Safety, maybe even kindness. Jamie reached for her hand very gently, as if afraid she would break. We'll get through this night, he said softly, and tomorrow, we'll find a way to keep ye safe. But as lightning cracked outside, and thunder shook the old inn, a louder sound erupted from the hallway. Claire froze. Jamie immediately stepped in front of her again. Boots, heavy ones, redcoat boots. Her pulse spiked. The door rattled. Someone was trying to open it. Jamie's hand tightened on the hilt of the small blade at his side. The boots paused. Silence. Then the sound faded away. The intruders moving further down the hall. Claire exhaled shakily. She didn't realize she had pressed against Jamie's back, seeking protection without thinking. He turned slightly, looking down at her. Their closeness was new, unexpected, almost frightening. The all right, he whispered. Claire nodded, but her eyes glistened. Something in Jamie softened further, and he did something neither of them expected. He leaned his forehead gently against hers. You're safe, he whispered. I swear it. A long moment passed, filled only with the crackling of the fire. Claire felt her heart beat slow. She hadn't planned for any of this, couldn't have, but there was something undeniably steady about him. Thank you, she whispered. Jamie looked at her as if her words meant more than she knew. Hours passed as they talked quietly, sharing bits of their lives. Claire told him about the world she came from, careful not to reveal the truth of her time. Jamie spoke of his family, of loyalty, of the pain of betrayal he'd suffered. And slowly, unknowingly, their hearts shifted. The night wasn't about fear anymore, it was about two strangers, learning the shape of each other's souls. Just as Claire began to feel safe, another knock echoed through the hall, this time louder, urgent, the knock that would change everything. Jamie reacted instantly, grabbing Claire's hand. Behind me, he whispered. Before she could move, the door slammed open. A figure in a soaked cloak stumbled into the room, collapsing to the floor. Claire rushed forward, her instinct to help taking over. Jamie tensed, but let her move. The hood fell back, revealing a young boy no more than 13, blood streaking across his arm. He's one of ours, Jamie said, kneeling down. What happened, lad? The boy gasped out the truth. British soldiers were already in the village, searching every home, demanding the Englishwoman reported to be with the Highlanders. Claire's stomach twisted. Jamie helped lift the boy onto the bed. Claire tore cloth from her dress hem to bandage him. She worked quickly, her hands steady, even as her heart raced. Jamie watched her closely, admiration and worry mixing in his eyes. We can't stay here, Claire said firmly. If they find us, they won't. Jamie interrupted, but the tension in his jaw gave him away. He was scared, too scared for her. Moments later, Murtagh rushed back into the room. They can, she's here, he said. We must leave. Now, Claire's breath hitched. Another escape, another chase. She felt exhaustion crawling into her bones. Jamie grabbed her shoulders gently. But trust me, the question hung between them, heavy and honest. After a long pause, she nodded. Yes, I do. For the first time since she'd fallen through time, she meant it. They slipped out through a hidden passage behind the inn. Rain poured down, blurring the night swallowed them as they ran across muddy ground, toward the dark line of the forest. The sounds of soldiers shouting rose behind them. Claire stumbled, her foot catching on a route, but Jamie caught her before she fell. "I've got he breathed. They hid behind thick bushes, breaths loud in their ears. Redcoats rode past, torches blazing. Jamie tightened his arm around Claire, pulling her closer to protect her from being seen. She could feel his heartbeat against her back, strong, steady. The danger, the fear, the closeness wrapped around them like fire. When the soldiers finally passed, Claire leaned into Jamie, her body trembling. "Are you hurt?" he asked softly. "No, just overwhelmed." Jamie cupped her face gently. "You're the bravest woman I've ever met." Claire let out a shaky laugh. "You don't know me." His voice softened. "Maybe not, but I want to." The words hit her harder than the rain. Simple, true, unexpected. They traveled through the forest until dawn tinged the sky pink. Exhausted, they stopped near the river, where the air smelled of pine and fresh earth. Jamie wrapped his plaid around Claire to keep her warm. She hesitated only a moment before leaning against him. The world felt quiet here, safe, even if only for a breath. "Jamie," she whispered, "what happens now?" He looked down at her, his expression gentle but sure. "We make our future one step at a time. Together, if you'll have it." Claire stared at him. Their marriage had been forced, unexpected. But this moment, this choice felt like destiny. She took his hand. "Yes," she whispered. Together, he smiled, the kind of smile that could melt frost. The sun broke through the clouds then, lighting the river like gold. The night that had begun with fear ended with something much stronger, hope. And though neither of them knew it yet, their wedding night, the night that changed everything, had just set their souls on a path that would echo across time, binding them not by necessity, but by something far deeper, a love written into their destiny long before either of them understood it.